Hi, you guys. Wow, I'm so excited to be recording this episode. I let you guys know just recently that we'd be really increasing the podcast this year. I'm also really excited to bring way more vulnerability into this space, right? Just so you guys know, if you're new here, welcome. A little bit about myself. I am someone who is all about circular leadership, really wanting to bring you guys behind the scenes and talk to the real and the raw and the struggle and the journey and the triumphs and the highs and the lows and all the parts that go into entrepreneurship, right? There's a very glamorized version of success on the internet. And, me and my therapists are always talking about all these people that are successful and how, she works behind the scenes with a lot of these women. And she's just like, nothing on social media is ever what it seems. So I just want to start with that, and that everything you see on social media is really not always what it seems. And really, that's why this path is so much about what success means to you. Right? Every single person in their life has an upside and they also have a downside, right? Like, the things that are really amazing to me might be different than the things that are really amazing to you. And the things that are downsides for me might be something you would never want to experience in your life, and vice versa. So we have to understand that the true meaning of success is not to have the things that other people have. It's to be the fullest version of us and create the success that is the biggest, fullest expression of ourselves and who we really are and what love and what the things we value are in our lives. So I want to start by saying that this community we rebranded this year into the Solver and Baddie community. And I'm so excited about this because for many years I was branded as the Breakthrough to Embodiment community. And that was really powerful for many, many years. But it just got to a point where I was like in my journey with growth, my clients were stepping into higher levels of power and new tiers of transformation in their business. And it just wasn't encapsulating what we were really here doing in this space, right? Breaking through to embodiment is incredible, but it's so much bigger than that now. It's like the amplification of the biggest, fullest, most expressed version of you, well loved, well paid, just like creating emotional wealth on this path to physical and tangible wealth. And we just couldn't fit that under the umbrella of breakthrough to embodiment, right? That was more like, let's heal. Let's get to a place where like, I feel good being me. No, we're getting to a place now where it's like, I feel good being me. I've got blinders on. I'm here to fucking trailblaze. I'm here to really like tap into my heart, what I want, what I value. And you're going to hear me talk about that a lot on this podcast because really like I said, there's so many places we can compare ourselves in the online space. And that's not going to get you anywhere, because the truth is that you stand out, that you build success through becoming one of one, not imitating somebody else really, really well. So the Solver and Baddie community, what that really means to me is it's the woman who is so in her own lane. She knows her success is bred and born from her just being like the most truest, authentic version of herself. She's not interested in pedestaling herself. She's not interested in comparing herself. Like, she knows that her wealth starts from within. And she knows that whether she has the money right now, whether she has the success right now, that success comes from within. Success comes from becoming the match from within. She's done looking at the gurus. Yes, there's things to learn. There's so many incredibly talented people in this online space, but it's really when she makes her own art of the things she's learned. It's really when she trusts her own gut, her own intuition. And she is, like I said, just so fully in tune with her own channel, her presence, her feminine embodiment. She's letting source lead, right? When we are allowing ourselves the space to be in good energy, to feel well nourished, and to lead our business through, like I said, feminine expression and creativity and our channel, as opposed to forcing and masculine and like the perfect strategy and the perfect mentor to hire, everything changes, right? It's our energy that informs our strategy. And so if your energy is moving from force, lack, comparison, trying to be like anybody else, it just doesn't fucking work, right? And of course, in my world, I do give masculine frameworks. I do give masculine structure because there's a time and a place where the rules help us get results. But it's when you know the rules that you can finally break them. Okay. So this is for the shame, the people who are here to absolutely eradicate shame from their lives, show up as like the fullest, most expressed version of themselves, and really lead a world-class movement that is different than anything else they've seen on the internet. And that starts with being so in tune with your own essence, so like coherent with your own energy, letting God move through you rather than by you. Like you're not just this robot in a conveyor line doing these steps. You're somebody that's like literally making art with your impact. Okay. So we'll start with that. For all my soulburn baddies, for the women who are here to be well paid, well loved, fully fucking expressed, living to the edge of their expression, to their voice, welcome. Welcome here. You will never see me try to pedestal myself. There's so many people in this online space that they build a lot of their success through pedestaling themselves, through making you feel lack, through making you feel FOMO, through making you feel not good enough. And they call it leadership, and they act like they're inspiring you, and they act like they're helping you build generational wealth, but they're not. They're building their own generational wealth off the back of other people's dreams. And that is not what it's about here. It's about, I grow proportionally to how I help you grow. That's so fucking important to me here. And I'm truly an ally. I'm truly like a second set of eyes in your business, a business partner here to support you in creating the business that is the most you have ever been. Okay. So we love our businesses. We love the spiritual mirrors that come with them. And, if you're on this crazy freaking rocket ship, I'm celebrating you so big because honestly, this path is not for the faint of heart. This path is hard. This path is going to challenge you. And that's why I'm so freaking excited to share with you guys the 5 things that I wish I knew when building my 6-figure offer. Or my first 6 figures in my business, actually, not my 6-figure offer, but offers will be a part of this conversation. So to start, the very first thing that I wish I knew when I was building my first 6 figures is that the energy in which you build your business is the energy in which will be required to sustain it. And that's why I talk so strongly about building in alignment with your values, building in alignment with the things that matter to you, right? For you, freedom could mean something so freaking different than what freedom means to me. And that's beautiful and it's perfect. And that's why, again, we have to follow the blueprint for your dream business, not anybody else's. And so if we build our business from hustle, it's going to require you to always hustle to hold it. If you build your business from ease and flow, it's going to be completely freaking sustainable to continue with ease and flow. It's finding the balance of the two. Yes, there are seasons where you are going to be hustling because you're building something big on the back end, right? There's seasons to put your head down and build, but ultimately the overall structure of your business needs to be something that energetically feels sustainable. Right. I recently had a session with one of my healers and she said, when you feel into the 25K month, that's what I'm manifesting right now. She said, when you feel into the 25K month, like, how does she feel? Does she feel stressed? Like she's working a lot, or does she feel easeful? Does she feel relaxed? And when I feel into my 25K month, I'm like, oh my God, she feels like relaxed as fuck. She feels liberated. She feels expressed. She is having so much fun. She is fully alive. And that is what we really need to tap into when we build our business, right? Because again, it has to be a blueprint that makes sense for you. And if I built the 25K through hustle, inevitably the tower would fall. And I just want to let you guys know, like, the more you fail, the faster you're going to find success. So don't be afraid of failure. I had a mentor that used to say, like, I hope that your biggest fears come true. And there's so many times in my business that my biggest fears have come true. Not all of them, thank goodness. But honestly, the ones that have, I'm like so grateful, whether it was an investment that didn't go how I wanted to, or whether it was a client and like their payment plan didn't go through. Like all of these things have been the biggest spiritual lessons in helping me become the woman I need to be to hold this, right? So really be intentional when you subscribe to a way that you have to do your business, or a rule around the way you have to sell it, the way you have to show up. And also remember that it's not always the thing, right? Because like I know I talked about the way you have to sell, and I know a lot of people here right now, you're listening and you're thinking, oh, I have some sticky feelings around sales. I'm not saying this is a permission slip for you to not sell, okay? Because some of this is like there are certain principles of business that you have to stick to because they're tried and true, because that is how you persuade people into an empowered sale. But sometimes it's the energy and the frequency behind how you're doing them. Right? So it's like right now I'm showing up for this podcast, but I've spent 2 weeks fully resting and relaxing to just be in this really juicy, open energy as I record these podcasts, because just to let you guys in on a little insight, I do so much better with live experiences. It's so easy when we're like on the camera, we're being recorded, we've got one shot to be like, oh no, all of a sudden I can't talk and I'm fumbling with my words and I need to start over and I need to fix my hair. And so, yeah, so I spent all this time just being like, I'm just going to get in the most relaxed, receptive, like channeled energy so these podcasts can move through me. And I could have sat down and recorded this same podcast with the same points and the same topic, but I did it from an energy of like force. I did it from an energy of like, oh, I got to get this out there, and that pressure. And it would have been a different episode. It would have been a different experience. I would have felt more tired after I did it. So sometimes we can put the same amount of effort in, but because we've adjusted the energy that is informing our strategy, it changes everything. So I really want to call that forward in you, right? That's why like a coaching business is really such an energetic game. Like I really always say that. I'm like, this is literally an energy game, you know? And that's why it's so important for us to take really good care of ourselves, be tending to our physiology, working out, getting sunlight, like thinking of like your body like a plant that needs nutrients, because 50% of this thing is strategy, but so much of this thing is your embodiment and your energy. Sometimes it doesn't even matter what you say. It just matters how you make people feel. And that all comes down to the energy behind how you're doing it. You know, I always share with people, like, if you didn't know, I had a business, a jewelry business in 2020 that I started alongside my coaching business. It did really well the first few years. I eventually, I think it was last year or so, I closed it down. I kind of just let the last few items sell out, and I closed that business down because I felt that it was just a distraction from where I really wanted to be, which is here. But what I always tell people is that in that business, like it didn't matter if I felt good, bad, like there's no mirror. Right? There's no mirror in a product-based business. There's no comparison. I'm not constantly surrounded by other people doing the same thing as me. It's just a totally different ball game. And so I could honestly have crap energy and that business could still succeed and fly. But this business is different. This business is built on leadership. And so, yeah, just remember that you are going to build something totally different based on the energy you're in. Your capacity to hold it will change based on how you built it, the energy in which you've built it, and the energy that informs the strategy. So keep that in mind. The next thing that I want to dive into, number 2, the people that you pedestal on your path to success are hardly ever what you've made them out to be. In fact, my advice to you is don't pedestal your mentors, because the people you put on a pedestal will inevitably fall from that pedestal. And, you know, I love the coaching industry. There's so many people here with such good hearts, so much impact it's been made. Coaching has completely changed my life, right? I would not be the woman I am without coaching. And most of the time, the people we see at the very, very top, the people you compare yourself to, like I said in the beginning of this, they are sometimes not as focused on their impact and it's become like the success has sort of become more about just them and their lives. And we have so much love for every version of every leader in this space and the things they teach us and the things they mirror. But what I want to say, after having talked to so many friends I have that have gone so far in the coaching space, I have a lot of really successful friends in this online space, clients who've had past investment experiences, my own experience is right now, like you might be doubting your leadership. You might be doubting you're good enough. You might have imposter syndrome. And my experience with getting in these really big containers is that a lot of you guys right now have more leadership in the right ways, in the ways that matter, in the ways that are being like an integrous human, a conscious leader, wanting to have impact, leading from love, being people and human centered. Like you guys have so much more of that than you're giving yourself credit for. Don't forget that your heart is the thing that's going to take you far in this space. Your heart is the thing that's going to protect you in this space. So don't compare yourself to those people. Don't compare yourself. You know, they're just in all industries. In all industries, there's the ones that do it really well, that are really, really good. And then there's some people who their hearts are not always in the best places. And yeah, I just want to really mirror to you that the bigger someone has gone, it's not always better. Doesn't mean their life is perfect behind the scenes. Doesn't mean they are always in integrity. It doesn't mean that they're always leading better than you just because they're making more money. So trust yourself, right? There was a lot of moments in the beginning of my business where there'd be something I didn't agree with, right? Like there's this whole notion in the online space of hire the leader that triggers you. And like I'm a nervous system girly. My whole life is helping people find safety in their body to create more energetic capacity for success and for wealth. And like, I just like can't with that statement. And maybe that will change. Maybe when I reach a new level, a new version of me in my business, my relationship to that will change. But as a girly that's done so much healing, I cannot at this point in time in my life condone that statement, because whilst there are some levels of trigger, there's some levels of trigger that could be expansive. The majority of the people saying, hire me because I trigger you, are actually triggering a trauma bond inside of you. They're love bombing you. They are making you feel really crazy FOMO about how amazing their life is and how yours isn't. And they're essentially like, it's very bro markety, and they're just disguising it as like pleasure marketing. And really they're making you feel, they say they don't want to pain point market. A lot of times it's usually in the feminine space, but they're actually like, the FOMO can hurt so bad. This making you believe that where you are right now is not good enough can hurt so bad. So if right now you're feeling that and you're just like, I love my life, but just there's somewhere else you want to be. I always tell my girlies in my spaces, like, the part of you that wants to be somewhere other than where you are right now, it's a form of escapism. So it's not about actually wanting that thing so bad. It's that there's something in your current reality that maybe is uncomfortable or causing you internal turmoil or pain. That's the part we want to heal, because that's the part that can't go with you to success anyways, right? Like I said, I'm going to start to share way more vulnerably in 2025, and I'm really excited about it. The last 2 years, I kind of took a step back and was like, I don't need everything to be in front of the curtain. And that was because I was doing a lot of my own deep healing. There's so many things that were going right in my business, but I had some deep traumas around relationships. I felt a lot of shame about that, because anytime something would come up in my relationship, then I would feel like, oh, like everything else in my life is good, but because my relationship isn't good, I feel like shame around that. Like I'm like out of alignment or integrity or something, even though I knew I wasn't. I was using the tools, and I was, it's not about being perfect. It's about the way you implement the tools when things are hard. And I'm good at that. But I knew I needed to step back and clean that up, because I could not build the wealth and sustain it, right? Because really the only thing that was ever creating these like forward momentum, stop, forward and back, was these traumas that were being re-triggered in my relationship and in my interpersonal relationships, really. Not like friendships, but just like I have like things to heal around letting more support into my life, things like that. I would have a huge setback. And so the last 2 years I said, I'm going to be okay coasting a little slower in business, knowing that I'm going to heal the deepest parts of my life. And all of that energy just gets to circulate back into the business. It gets to create more capacity to hold, right? When we release dense energy, the dense vibrations, this is when we really open up so much space for the success and the power that we want to hold in our body. So it's actually like non-negotiable that we are doing the work to release those things so that we can expand our capacity to hold. So yeah, it's just you've got some things that you've got to release in order to step into this new level of you, but trust that you are that woman. Just because there's a few things to heal, like you are the woman who can do this, who can hold this, who can be this. And right now, if you are feeling like there's something in your business, your life that's like creating a little bit of like a step back or a setback, like I don't want you to shame yourself for that. And I don't want you to feel FOMO for that. I just want you to lean in and say, what is it that I actually need to feel right now? And every time you feel that sneaky little part of your ego say, oh, we don't want to be here right now. If I just had the money, if I just had this, if I just had the freedom, I want you to picture this. Okay. And this is going to be kind of intense for some of you, maybe for others not. I actually just want you to picture that you have an anchor, a chain tied around your hips with an anchor, just grounding you exactly where you are right now. And there's no leaving until you have felt what you need to feel and you've gone through the storm, right? They say that God brings the storm to expand your capacity to hold, not to deter you, right? And God always gets you through the storm if you can but you have to weather it. You have to weather the storm. So instead of thinking I can escape it, I could be somewhere else, I want you to sit here and just like remove that. And when you remove this facade that somewhere else would take that off your heart and take it away, and you actually just be with it, you're going to realize that you took something that could be small. Not to say it's not painful, but it could be small, but you've amplified it to be this huge thing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the story of like the princess and the pea. It's this idea of like this princess, she has like a pea, literally a pea. She has 10 mattresses stacked on top. She just cannot get comfortable because there's a little pea underneath all these mattresses. And that is what we make a lot of our healing journey. You know, it started painful, but smaller. And then we created stories for it. And then it grew and then it grew until it's like so fucking scary to hold it, to look at it, to feel it, that we've blown it up so proportionally in our mind to be so much bigger than it really is. Okay. So that's what I did the last 2 years. I healed so much shit around being supported, around, childhood neglect and like safety. And it's incredible because my business feels unstoppable now. And that's why like everything I do in my community is so different because you really cannot build. There's some people who come into this space without like a million things or a lot of things to heal, but most of us are on this path because we were given a harder journey. It's part of our spiritual path. God is literally like your life journey is to get to know yourself so fully and to heal generations of trauma. And you're the one it stops with. And your business is just this beautiful, beautiful mirror for all of the deep work you're doing. So stop giving into the FOMO. It's a tactic and it's working and you're a fucking powerhouse. Trust that. And know that the more you heal, the more that will come. So that's number 2. Wow. We're going deep here. Number 3, money is just the amplification of who you are. I love this because again, we think when the money comes, it's all just going to be so great. Okay. Let's just debunk this right now. So, you guys know, I built my business to 10K months in 5 months. I was the ideal version of the girl who built a 10K month and she quit her business, she quit her job. She went all in, her business took off. Like everything was just so fucking great, right? Right? Well, actually, it wasn't so great. I had 10 one-to-one clients. I mean, it was great. I was so grateful to have 10K months, but it didn't change how I felt underneath it all, the lack of safety that I felt. So I started making 10K months. I had like 10 one-on-one clients. I had built this life where I had quote unquote freedom, right? I have endless hours in a day, even if I have 10 clients once a week, right? Even if it's twice a week, like there's 5 other days in a week. And yet tell me why I still felt like, oh my gosh, I cannot go on vacation because what if the money doesn't keep coming? I cannot take a trip because I'm not making enough money. 10K months, I'm not making enough money. Like, what? What? Seriously? And when is the next client coming? Where are they going to come from? Can I keep doing this? Can I maintain this? It's scary when you first receive your dreams and you don't know how to hold them. They feel like a hot potato and you're like, if I'm not here tossing this hot potato, like it's just going to fall and the whole dream is going to fall apart. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to lose it. That's because money is the amplification of you. And that's why this path can be so different for every single person. And that's where, if you're really safe and you feel really at peace and you love the energy in which you built your business and you're leading from service instead of FOMO and lack and escapism, then the more money, the better, baby. And also, if the money doesn't come, like, fuck it, who cares? That's kind of how that goes, But if you have a ton of money and you are in lack, you're still going to feel in lack. If you have a ton of money that you're hoarding, you're still going to feel greedy and you're going to still feel scared to invest in yourself and you're going to still feel scared to leave the job and you're not going to live your life. So, when I talk to my humans, like, your greatest success is going to come from the moment that you stop saying, if my business, when my business, then I will live. You got to live today, baby. You've got to go live today. If you want more freedom, figure out how to plan trips now. If you want more fun, more joy, more play, figure it out now with what you have. Because when you're already the frequency, when you're already the match, it's going to come easier and it's going to come faster. If you are not the match, you're going to build it and you're going to potentially lose it, or you're not going to be happy and you're going to be one of those that want to burn it down. And nobody wants that. I've been there. Nobody wants that, right? Focus on who you're being today. And that is how you will build sustainable success that you can hold, that you can build, where you can make money month after month after month because you're just so fucking comfortable and so aligned, right? Yes, you might say, but Leah, financially, there are some limitations. And I get that. Maybe right now, the things you want to do, there are some financial limitations, but maybe you can't go on a Europe vacation, but maybe you can actually. Maybe you can get a credit card with flyer points and maybe you can save for that and go in a year. Maybe you can go camping on the weekend. Maybe you can go out on a dinner date once a week. Maybe it's about an energy and a frequency that you get into when you meditate, when you build safety in your body, when you shower, right? There's some of the quote unquote richest yet poorest moments in my business where I was in the most expensive mastermind I'd ever been in. I'm surrounded by multi 6-figure earners, people making $500,000, $1 million a year, multi-millions. And financially, my business was starting to contract. Yeah. The market was changing. Some strategic things I was experimenting with changed. And in those moments, how I found wealth? I found wealth by walking every day and feeling the sun on my face and reminding myself that I get to wake up without an alarm and how fucking lucky I am to have that. And showering and using rose body wash and lathering it on my body and saying, I'm not going to use a tiny bit. I'm going to put a big old, 2 quarters, 3 quarters worth in my palm. And I'm just going to I'm just going to let myself feel in that and smell that and be with myself. We can create that romanticized energy and the feelings in our business every single day, whether the money's here or not. Okay. So money is just amplification of you. Don't get it twisted. Number 4. Okay. So number 4 is to pick one offer and to stick with it. Half of the journey is going to be figuring out who you really are and what offer really makes sense for you. And you might flip-flop. You might change that. You might decide halfway in, 2 years in, that an offer isn't for you anymore, or that you do want to pivot your niche. And that's okay, because I pivoted my niche and I pivoted my offers. And sometimes when you do that, there is a delay, when I pivoted, it took me 3 months for my community to really fully start to catch on and buy from that new experience and things like that. So just know that if you pivot your offer, it's totally okay. in some essence, you're kind of starting parts of your business over. You're building that recognition, that authority. And so that is something to consider when I look back on old versions of me. Maybe I would have told myself to work on refining the offer I already had that was doing really well and sticking with that for longer. It's all perfect in the end. And I absolutely love what I'm doing now. And it's like kind of comes full circle where like you usually wind up sort of almost coming back to the thing you started with, just in a different way, a different shape, a different form. And so that's like so beautiful. But the truth is that building your $1 million offer is going to require you to really stick with one thing and establish that like monotonous authority day after day, month after month, and learning new and creative ways to talk about your offer over and over and over and over and over and over. And that is how you really scale your business. Right? Getting really, really, really well known for one thing. They say niche down to blow up. You earn the right to be broad. And I just want to talk about this whole niche thing because a lot of times people think, oh, I'm the niche and I don't want to box myself in. But the truth is that the more niche you are, the higher the perceived value. So if I'm just like, I just like help spiritual women like feel at ease and feel aligned, people are like, I don't know what the hell you do. I mean, it's amazing and you're inspiring and I love it, but I actually just don't know what I'm paying you for. And some people will pay people for things like that. It happens, right? But I would say it's the rarity. But if I'm like, I help multi-million dollar earners, particularly spiritual women that are earning millions, clear the one energetic block to their like financial income to 10x their revenue working the same amount of hours. Like, whoa, it's like, oh, I could do one session with her and clear a block and then increase my revenue because of my like energetic capacity without having to do more. She's already like a busy woman, right? Do we see how that's like so specific? And the premium buyer who knows what she's looking for is like, oh, I'm looking for someone to clear this thing and you're the one who can do it. Perfect. Right? People that are high-end buyers know what they're looking for. They're actively looking to buy. And if you present the solution that's the answer to their like dream desire or the thing they want to work on or the thing they want solutions for, they're going to buy from you and they're going to be willing to pay you more for it because it's very specific. So riches are in the niches, they say. And part of that might be that you are lacking some clarity around your genius and your gifts. This is something that I'm really good at helping my women with inside of SCB is like helping you niche in a way that really makes you unique. You know, a lot of people are niching to like that first surface level. We want you to be so micro specific about your niche. And that's what I help you do. I help you put your power, your passion, your transformation into words, right? You know that you're powerful. You know you can change lives, but there's a part of you that's not claiming it. So let's claim it. And the moment you do, people will then be so easily able to pay you. So pick one offer and stick with it. And then, you know, we have to set your offer up to be scalable too, right? One-to-one, you could scale through one-to-one, but a really truly scalable offer is a container that has endless capacity for people to come into it. You're not constantly live launching it. Like again, the way in which you build is the way in which you will be required to sustain it. Remember that conversation? So, pick one offer, make it scalable, and you're going to create so much space for your feminine in your business. And number 5, the very last thing is to put the blinders on. Put the blinders on. I've hired a lot of coaches, right? You guys know I've invested over like $120,000 in my business. I've probably worked with like, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 different coaches between high level mentorship, small containers, pre-recorded programs, all the things. And there's certain things you're going to pick and choose from all of them that you love, that you want to do in your business. But like, those are all just examples. The way that you really build success is when you work with people who are there to amplify you. And that usually comes from people who are empowering your power, your potency, helping you unlock your gifts, helping you find your internal clarity, the energy work, the subconscious work, giving you frameworks, but then asking you, how does it really feel good for you? So for me, the greatest success has come from working with people that I share my desire, my vision, my genius, And they help me work out the energy that's stopping me around that. But it's like the way I see it, not the ones who say, this is how I did it. And this is the best way to do it. And this is how you have to do it. And this is how everybody else is doing it. And this is what's popular right now. And like this sort of like, what do I say? These like, shiny strategies, right? Because the truth is there's so many strategies. You can build your business however you want. And again, I go and I teach you in my world. I'm always teaching you sales, the foundations of sales, so important. The foundations of like spiritual sales, soulful sales, selling in a place that's really empowering, because everybody needs to be equipped with that. I obviously teach you how to make a really important and incredible offer, because people don't buy when they're confused. And most people, the biggest gap in their business isn't actually their messaging, and it isn't actually anything else they're doing other than the fact that their offer is just not quite clear enough for people. It's not positioned strong enough for people. And then messaging, of course, but the messaging is the amplification of your program. So I teach you these foundations. I teach you the rules of what works, but I teach you the rules so that you can apply them in your own way. I teach you the rules so you can break them. I don't say, hey, you have to do it this way, because while do for you and done for you and templates and all those things, like I think they're very important. I include them because there's only so much we can try on and learn at the same time, right? If I'm learning messaging, if I'm learning offer creation, if I'm learning launching, like it's a lot. And what I have found is the greatest success in my business has come when I just put in the reps and I pick one thing to really focus on. Like I'm really going to focus on messaging. I'm really going to focus on launching. I'm really going to focus for 3 months on just launching masterclasses and not as much on the content. And just that's how I've built this muscle to have so much capacity for every little part of my business. It's just the reps, right? We make business so complicated, but sometimes it's really just so simple, right? Let others support you in your vision and your dream. Doesn't mean that I'm letting you off the hook and saying you don't have to do stuff that you don't want to do, because sometimes you do. That's the downside to your upside, right? Or there's the healing work there. It's the energy, again, we talked about in the beginning, cleaning up the energy frequencies around the things you're doing, learning how to sell in a way that you love selling because it feels powerful, because it feels empowering, learning how to show up every day in a way that doesn't feel draining or like hustle, but feels authentic, that feels good, like feels of service. So these are the 5 things that I wish I knew before I started my business, before I hit my 6 figures. And if I'm being honest, if somebody would have told me then, I probably wouldn't have listened. But trust me when I say following these 5 things will change everything for you. And there's really no shortcut except for just do the healing. Be the best version of you. Be the woman that you want to be when you're successful today, and people will hire you because of who you choose to be. So I have so much love for all of you. I'm so excited for 2025. It's going to be honestly amazing. And it all starts right now. It starts with the things that you do now, the decisions you make, not waiting to make the investment. You guys, if I would have waited to make my first investment, do you know how much my first business coach was? $2,500 a month. Do you know how much I was making in my business? I think I had just sold one $1,600 package that was 3 months. And that was it. I didn't have monthly recurring revenue. I didn't have a full-time job. At this point, I was already working part-time, making, I think, $1,000 a month. I didn't have the income, but I did it anyway. I did it scared. I did it when I wasn't ready. And look at my business now, okay? Everything can change, but I'm not going to lie to you. There's just certain things you can't learn on the internet. When it comes to this business, this is part of the coaching business. You do have to invest to learn the valuable skill sets. But more than that, you need someone there to keep you focused, to help you understand where to put the energy so that you're not just like running your wheels and throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like, you collapse time when you let others help guide you on this path, coach you through the blocks. And that's something that a lot of women come into my world for, because they get a little wobble or they sometimes have a little bit of doubt. or they have some things to heal, and they know that business isn't about just creating success. It's about really stepping into like the fullest version of them, right? I'm a holistic business coach, meaning I know if your love life's not thriving, your business is not going to be fucking thriving. I know if you are not in your best health or you are dealing with childhood traumas, like you're just not going to be, you're not going to be building the success that you actually want, because those things, they are energy vampires, okay? And we're here for you to feel the joy, the love, the wealth, the peace, right? Like when we think about what would heaven on earth feel like that's the kind of life I'm helping my women build, where they just feel so fucking alive. And so this is your silver and baddie era. Come join us. Come make your business the party that others are begging to be a part of. And that starts with you, who you choose to be, and the energy in which you move in. So big love. If this spoke to you, I have SCB spaces right now. And let me tell you, Sovereign CEO Academy is the place to fucking be. We have the strategy. I have repeatable, scalable strategy that is timeless, that you can choose which parts work for you. I'm in there working on messaging with you. I'm helping you position your offer as the authority. The thing that like has your clients, your dream clients saying, I need to pay you. You know, the thing that they've been praying for someone to solve. I'm helping you position yourself as the next most obvious step for them. And then, of course, we're doing the energy work. You know, if you loved all the stuff I talked about with energy in here, feminine energetics, you have a small audience, you know that it's not about like going viral and all these things. You're here to build circular leadership, a really just, you know, step into your power in 2025 and clear up any energy that's just like leaky, right? Anything that's holding you back from being this like powerful, convicted, expressed woman, then step into my world. And I also have VIP. So if that speaks to you too, it's for a woman that's a little bit wanting more eyes on her business. She's like, I don't want like all the extra in between noise. I literally just like want like a full hour, your eyes on my business. I want to go really deep. She's probably wanting more of the one-to-one hypnosis and energy work in that way. We still do energy work in SCB. Like I am helping you become really well resourced. We're doing breath work. We're doing hypno, but obviously we can go so much deeper in one-to-one. So sending you guys big love. If this calls to you, DM me on Instagram. Let me know what was your biggest takeaway from this session. Let me know, what are you going through in your business? Is this helping impact you and anything you heard today? What changes are you going to make after listening today? I love to connect with you guys because really that's why I'm here, is why I'm doing this. So sending you all big love and so excited to hear from you.